Okay, this works, yeah. Cool. Hey everyone, my name is Matías. I think some of you already know me from the last EthCC and also the previous one. This is experimental. We do blockchain games. Have you heard of Crypto Wars? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anyway, so I'm gonna try to not focus that much on the game itself because many of you know it. And last time I did like a status update. This time I think I'll focus more on the industry itself. Thank you for coming with all the coronavirus stuff. We're in a group with many other speakers and many didn't come. So that's cool that you're here. Only rule, do not sneeze. Just as a bit of context of myself, if you don't know me already, I'm an entrepreneur and investor. I mostly focus on biotech and medtech, nothing to do with blockchain. But then in 2017, we founded Experimental, which is blockchain gaming. This is a team behind Crypto Wars and Experimental. It's a pretty cool team in Buenos Aires, Argentina. All right, and this is the topic for today, blockchain gaming, dead or alive. There are some folks that are still super bullish on the industry. Some of them are more bearish. I think I'm in the middle, so I'm not quite sure, but I'll give at least my view of what's going on and what might happen in the future. All right. This is Crypto Wars. If you don't know it, it's an RTS game that runs fully on the blockchain. We run on Loom Network, which is a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. If you didn't try it, you can try it online now at cryptowars.jp. And this is what I want to talk about. Basically, we had like a peak, right, on the blockchain gaming industry, maybe in 2018 or at the end of 2017 with CryptoKitties. This made a lot of us kind of join the wave of blockchain gaming. Not only like developers and gamers and stuff, but also some really interesting folks in Silicon Valley, like Andreessen Horowitz, Union Square Ventures, Google Ventures, and some other VCs. This to me was, being in the VC industry myself was a good sign. Positive signaling, to say it in a way, when you see people who are like so savvy into consumer products joining an industry like this. It made me feel that in the short or midterm we should be seeing some adoption for blockchain gaming. We still haven't. It's been probably two years and a half or something like this. There's still a lot to be done, but there was a lot done until this date as well. But right now it looks more like this, like the rolling plant on the movies, where nothing happens. This is currently the 5 top games on Ethereum. So all of them together, they don't reach like what, 5K users or something like this. And this is not even unique users. Like it could be the same guys, playing all of them. So this is not too exciting, right? So the question is, should this, what's going to happen? Will it go, up again? Like we will see adoption again of these games, or it will just die off? One thing we saw, which is kind of cool to me, is that all the shitty projects and all the scam projects and all the stuff kind of died off when they don't see like a lot of volume or a lot of ether going here and there. They just stopped working. Many games announced that they're not gonna keep going, and many others just disappeared. So we'll see what goes on, what happens. This was like at the peak when everyone was getting good news and stuff. We were, just making a few news as well. This was one of our best tournaments when we had like 2,000 or 2,500 players in a single tournament, all running on the blockchain. We crashed the Loom Network, which was like a cool thing to do, because the Loom Network got a lot better and our game got a lot more optimized. So this was really cool. But what I mean is all these were like hype news, in the moment, and then like everything kind of died. This is another, like thing that happened in the hype. Like people would buy a sword for $600 or like an axe for $600. You know, like, I don't know, people really valued the fact that all these assets are unique and that you're the real owner of that asset and stuff. But still, everything was like so inflated. So what's in the future? I don't know if you watch Vikings, but this is the seer, you know, the guy who does all the prophecies and stuff. So this is gonna be my prophecy, or at least my view on what's gonna happen in the next year, maybe. I feel like esports and blockchain are meant to be together, are meant to be coupled. They make a lot of sense together. So in our case, we're gonna kind of pivot or move more towards a platform for short esport tournaments. So basically, like 1v1, where you stake DAI, you stake Ether, you stake Bitcoin, you do whatever you want, but you stake it. So let's say I put 10 DAI, you put 10 DAI, we play a tournament or a game, and then whoever wins gets the pot. I think that's what we're gonna see a lot more. It just makes sense to couple esports and blockchain for obviously safety, transparency reasons, but also it's just more natural to play with crypto, where you can just take the balance of the game to your wallet and spend it in anything else. Also, I don't know if you played games for money online, but they usually take fees. So if you want to take $1 out of the game, you just can't. Because the fee is $1.5, for example, with PayPal or whatever. So I think it makes a lot of sense. This is the why now, and why do I think in the next couple of years we'll start seeing stuff like this. First, because people like us, we're now like old enough to play for money, while a couple of years ago we were not. Maybe we are, but like new generations, they're just starting to be able to play for money. This is another thing which is pretty cool, which millennials and centennials, they don't like randomness. Our games are not random, are all skill-based, so we have no RNG whatsoever. So yeah, traditional gambling is not a thing we are a fan of, but esports are. This is also a thing about like the right timing. Casinos in Las Vegas are starting to test not random machines, like deterministic machines, which is pretty cool and makes a point as well. And then obviously, the size of the market itself, esports, are blowing up or already blew up. This is huge. And then obviously the online gambling market is huge as well. Actually, one of the only dApps making money or making real revenue are the casinos. So people kind of want to play for money. Our thesis is that a lot more people will want to play for money if it is not random, and if you can actually, think and make a strategy to make a living. So yeah. Anyways, that's our thesis. One thing we really like, and I think it's like a success case that never happened before, but it's starting to happen this year, and the last one is a company called Skillz. Have you heard of Skillz? No, okay. Well, so this was named by the Inc. magazine the most, like the fastest growing company in the US. What they basically do is they created an SDK that you can use in any game, and you can turn any game into a competitive game. So you can play for money, in whatever, like Candy Crush or like Angry Birds or whatever. And I think that's pretty cool. And they raised $131 million. Last year, they made $400 million in revenue. So they're doing pretty well. But the games they have or they currently have are mostly like super casual. And they also don't take crypto. They just do PayPal, and the withdrawal experience is pretty shitty actually. But the concept itself has proven to work, and I think this kind of thing will kind of work in the crypto world. anyways, this is what I just said. We want experimental to be more like a Skillz platform. We will start with crypto wars, but I think the cool thing about this new idea is that we can also onboard other blockchain games. Anything that has no randomness and it's 1v1 could be onboarded into this new platform. In the case of crypto wars, you basically have to create a village, to build buildings and then summon an army and go attack your opponents. At first, for the ones that already played it or know it, this was, we had like one tournament each week in the weekend. It would be like a 3-hour tournament. So let's say at 3 p.m. you had to, to join the server and play basically. The problem with this, I mean, we had several problems in the last version, but one of them was that you had to join at 3, right? At 3 p.m. independent of the part of the world where you are. So if it was, let's say, 3 p.m. EST and you were in Japan, you were fucked. You had to play like at 2 a.m. or something. So we decided to have this new platform in which you can just play 1v1 with whoever is connected, whoever is online. So that's not a problem anymore. And at the same time, with the last tournaments, we had like 2,000 people playing at the same time, and only 10 would win. So then, 1,990 would go home really sad because they didn't win and they spent 3 hours. So this, in this new model, it's 1v1. So, one of the two is going to be happy at least. This is regarding monetization for blockchain games. I think DeFi is going to be really, really important, and this is really cool and smart as well. Other than traditional, monetization strategies that you probably know from traditional games, I think DeFi is gonna have like a huge participation in monetization because now we game developers could can do new stuff like give loans to our users. We can put users' money to work instead of actually charging them. So, for example, let's say you want to play Crypto Wars 1v1, and you want to, I don't know, you pay 100 DAI, you buy like 100 credits or 100 DAI, and you use those 100 DAI in maybe like 2 months in several different tournaments. We can use, while you don't use that money, we can use it and put it in Bitfinex or like DSR or whatever other rating interest service we find, and we can get maybe like $20 a year from your 100, from your 100. So we don't have a need to charge you as a user. We can just use that money to generate interest. And the other really cool thing is the staking. You probably heard about this, but I think it makes a lot of sense in games. You could just, for example, if you want to have a premium subscription in your game, you could just tell a user to stake 100 DAI instead of paying. And all the time he has to stake those DAI, he will be a premium user, or he will have like a special character or a special whatever, gun or sword or whatever. And whenever he wants to recoup his money, he just takes it away. And he loses obviously the benefit, but he never paid for that benefit. And we obviously make money with DYDX or Compound or DSR or Bitfinex or whatever. I think this is we're gonna see like pretty smart things coming out of this. About the tech, 3 years ago when we came to the first Ethereum community conference, 3 or 2, yeah, whatever, the first one. It was a shit show to run our game. It was, almost impossible. Like, yeah, it was not scalable. So every time we had like 100 users, the game would go down. So now, games can actually run on the blockchain and everything is fine. You can have like maybe 5,000 users on a game running on the blockchain at the same time, and it will work. Obviously, 5,000 users is nothing, and it's shit compared to the traditional gaming industry. But at least it's like a step forward. Whenever we get one game that can get 1 million users or something like this, we'll be fucked, and we'll need to find a new solution. But I think it's on the right path at least. the first, again, in the first conference, there was no way to play Crypto Wars in mobile. Now you can play it from any browser, Web 2 browser. It doesn't need to be Web 3, so that's pretty cool as well. Now there's gas abstraction, so you don't really have to pay gas, I mean, as a user, which makes the whole experience much better. And now regarding scalability and infrastructure, we're pretty excited about optimistic rollups. We're making a test now with Interstate. So this could be potentially, yeah, a good solution as well. That's it. So if you have any questions, I think we have some time so you can ask them. And if not, you can just find me on Twitter or email.
Questions?
Any questions?
Hi, thank you for your talk. I just want to know, like, since I bought some Loom Network, some tokens, like, I want to know, like, what's your experience with it, and if it's working well for companies that are using it, and also with regards to the implementation of communication with other blockchains, if they're really doing what they're saying on the newsletter, or yeah, just that.
Well, it's working. What I can tell you, it is working much better than before. It took a lot of time for them to actually work properly. Now you can launch, a decent game on their network, and it will work without a problem, which is great. I'm not so bullish in the what you just said, like connecting different networks and stuff. I don't think that was a priority. I think it makes more sense to focus on scalability. Because again, what I just said, like now that we have whatever 10,000 users or 12,000 users, we're fine. But whenever this grows, it will not be a solution anymore. So that's why we're testing other things, right? And yeah, the other thing is, let's see what happened with optimistic rollups and how it competes with solutions like Loom. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, so so I think there's maybe issues with you having to be over 18, I guess, to buy crypto in the first place. So
yeah.
like, what's the point of incorporating tokens into a game?
Yeah, no, the idea is, at least with this kind of games, it's definitely not for like under 18. For example, Skillz, the company I just said, with 400 million in revenues, like 60% of their customers are like women on their 40s to 50s, and then the rest, yeah, exactly. Then it's also men, but also in that age range. So we're gonna focus more on the eSports crowd and not so much on the mobile gaming crowd.
All right.
Hi, thanks for the talk. My question goes more around that it seems that we're not really understanding what the addressable market is really for gaming, because it seems that everything that we're generally talking about in this space is only addressed towards people who are either knowledgeable in the blockchain or have tokens, and everybody else is excluded. So for things like esports, the reason probably why esports is as hot as it is right now is because eventually games came out which they had zero barrier to entry. I can play pub, whatever, on any device, on any platform without tokens or fees. So how do you think that we move past this sort of cloud, which is called blockchain, which at the end of the day, an end user doesn't care, as they don't care how I built my mobile app on iPhone using whatever technology. How do we get past that?
Perfect question, because we're actually facing that issue right now. Like, we obviously don't want to be in this like super small market. We don't give a fuck about it. Like, no one gives a fuck. Our investors, we have like top Silicon Valley investors as well, so they don't give a fuck about our 10,000 users. So one of the main issues with this, for example, what I just said, that people will stake DAI, for example, in the interface you will have no idea you're staking DAI. We just talk about DAI here because this is crypto people, but in the industry, in the game, it will be just like your balance, your credits. You will have, just like a normal game. The problem we're facing right now is that we want people to be able to pay with credit cards and debit cards, and also with crypto to, to keep our fan base happy for now. But the problem with this is if you want to integrate a payment gateway solution for credit and debit, they don't want you to use crypto, and if you use crypto, you can't use the other one. So right now we're gonna test. We're gonna start with DAI, and the idea is to add credit and debit as soon as possible. But even with DAI, you have no need at first to have like a lot of knowledge. It's you have to definitely be able to buy DAI in the website and everything, but it's not that much. What we need to figure out ASAP is how to add credit cards and just be a normal game. That runs on the blockchain, but you don't really need to know it runs on the blockchain. So yeah, that's our, I would say in the next like 3 months, we have to figure out how to do that properly, with a American corporation and not get fucked.
Thank you for the talk. I also used to work for a gaming company, and we always had problems with cheaters, basically. And especially if you're playing against someone and you feel like this person is cheating, how are you dealing with this right now? Are there some game design decisions that you made to prevent this? And how could I report someone, for example?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, the whole redesign of Crypto Wars now, I mean, it had many reasons, but one of them was that there were many users doing multi-accounting and all this stuff to cheat, because maybe the price in a single tournament was like 1,000 DAI, so it's a lot of money to, in 3 hours, so it makes sense to cheat. And this is also why we changed many things about the game. I think most of the solution for that is changing the game, changing the features. For example, we had like a trading system that changed, just like Uniswap, that would change. So many users would, be working together to change the rates of stuff and get more of one stuff that they needed, to buy an army or whatever. So we kind of changed the trading system. Then the battle system had also like a problem where you can all target the same user and abuse the system. Okay, we changed the, so we're trying to fix, everything related to user abuse or whatever, by actually creating features that make sense and are not abusable. But then in the case of bots, for example, it's much more complicated. In the first version, which was like a multiplayer with thousands of users, what we did was basically have like elo points. So if you are a bot, you play with other bots. And if you're a user, you play with users. But in this 1v1, we have just to flag users whenever we think they're cheating or other users think they're cheating, and just look at the blockchain and see what they did. Everything is recorded on the blockchain. So,
thank you.
Time is over, sorry. Thank you.